No, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was your mouth. The mic's right over there. Anyway, hello. This is Alex here with our new intergalactic lawyer, who currently represents the interests behind the Legends version of our show, which is confusing. The Star Wars New Canon Book Club, where Jesse Davis and I sort of haphazardly followed along with Disney's version of Star Wars for about half a decade, for better or for worse, and which ended unceremoniously in late 2020. Anyway, we seem to have come to some sort of agreement regarding the future of the Swackback archive, and it seems to be all good now, so I'll let my esteemed guest explain, and then I'll translate. He's very happy to be able to make these episodes available to you now after they've been away for so long. He says that while they were in the vault, they had their archivists organize and remaster all the episodes and place them into 4 definitive collections, which they'll be releasing again over the next few months in partnership with us. He says they're going to be permanently hosted on our Patreon page, but that they're fully 100% free for all listeners, and that it's very important to them that nobody have to pay for access to a bunch of stuff we recorded half a decade ago that everybody already listened to for free for years. But yeah, Swackback Collection 1 is available now only at patreon.com/SWOCBC. That's patreon.com/SWOCBC. It's almost 20 hours of remastered content. Go there, check it out, have a look around, give them a listen if it pleases you, and may the Force be with you.
The Star Wars Old Canon Book Club is made possible by contributions on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/SWOCBC for ad-free episodes, reading guides, movie and TV episode audio watch-alongs, and more. Today's Old Canon Fact of the Day comes from a guide to the Star Wars universe, 3rd edition by Bill Slavichek, first published in October of the year 2000. Whenever a baby Ewok is born, the village plants a new seedling and nurtures it as it grows. Each Ewok is linked to his or her totem tree. When they die, it is believed that their spirits go to live in their special trees. Today's selection is Ewoks, The Battle for Endor, a television film by Ken and Jim Wheat, first broadcast by ABC on November 25th, 1985. Enjoy the show, and may the Force be with you, always.
Inawana Ewok movie.
In the beginning, it kind of had the energy of like Santa with a cold.
Oh,
just like trying to like, nope, that's not it.
Rudolph. Rudolph, I'm not. Oh, it's so dark.
Okay, well now you sound like Splinter trying to come up with his catchphrase or
Jimmy Cagney. You dirty rat. I made a funny.
Yeah.
Are we doing Inside the Insider right now, or is this the regular Swackback?
I was waiting.
In your mind.
You said Ewok, so now I think it's that.
Well, I mean, they're connected forever by a bond of genes. Where did you think you were just now?
Jabba's pals.
I felt like I was on Tatooine.
Just been brought back to life.
Do you think that like Jabba throws like holiday parties? Like what is Jabba's
He had a Booty
life
Eve
day
party, dude.
Yeah,
You know he was
You're
Booty
right.
Even.
Like
He rolled heavy.
do you think he's like, if they had a Santa type character that like he's like Daddy Claus?
You think they put a beard on him?
You think he's part of the legend because he's a big fat slug?
No, but you know how like you throw a holiday party and people dress up as different stuff? Like you think like Life Day, he's like, it's probably culturally inappropriate, but
Like he
wearing
dressed
like
like a Wookiee?
the Wookiee situation.
Is Life Day
A very furry slug. Or do you think
He's a
that,
snake.
that
He looks like a Wookiee shit.
He just has a Wookiee mask on, but the rest of him is a slug body.
Oh my god! I like
just looked
already
like a
the
doo-doo man.
Chewbacca masks are horrific. So I'm imagining that over
He looked like an
his
owl
face.
pellet.
Like a really big Chewbacca mask.
They'd be like, "Look, I know you love that mask, but you can't You can't have that.
He looked like
It's like the cursed like butthole witchy anus hat from What We Do in the Shadows.
Ooh. Do you think he, like during the holidays he's a fun guy and they're like, we dress him up as the tree? Right? And he's like super into it.
He just doesn't want to go anywhere.
Right, he doesn't want to move, so they dress him up as the tree.
Job. See what?
I can't. Gotta be the tree.
And then they put the presents around him.
Santuine left you under the Jabba.
Yeah.
Santuine. Get out of here.
What he left you under the dais. Huh? Yeah. Remember Jabba on the dais?
And then it moves back, revealing all the presents.
Yeah. And then
they show up and it's empty, and he's like, you didn't. He's like, you thought I didn't get you anything.
He's behind the curtains.
Yeah. And he does the laugh. He's like, but it's a kind laugh.
You brought me a present.
Yeah. All of his
Dude,
goons.
The best one is like laugh. He like dresses up the people he's gonna send to the Rancor like as little presents for his little guy.
Yeah.
Rancor like gets a little emotional.
He's like, what about me? You're the best present of all.
The Rancor has a little tiny Christmas hat on.
It opens and a roast beast comes down on a plate with gravy, and he looks over at the trainer. He looks over at the trainer, and the trainer's like, "That's for you, buddy,
dude."
Trainer dressed like an elf.
He probably like. I wonder what their relationship is. The trainer and Jabba.
Horse girl energy.
If there's anything I think I know about like famous mobsters and like their associates and other stuff, they might backstab, but like every driver for a gangster, every like the random people
for life,
they're like, that guy's the best guy ever. That guy put my kids through, like he like knows everything. Like I bet you his Rancor trainer's like, Jabba is like, that guy like is the best.
I gotta feed my assholes to someone.
In this scenario, the guy's like,
just humanize Jabba in my head for a little bit.
Jabba paid both my kids' college expenses.
I just don't think
about it. They
went
off to the Imperial Academy. I can never forget.
I don't think about what happened to that dancer or that other dancer,
right?
Or that other dancer or that other dancer.
Yeah. Frankly, there's a whole list of dancers that are gone.
And my kids will never be dancers for Jabba because they're at the Imperial Academy.
Yeah. And my fat sons learn how to be a Rancor trainer like me. Isn't that right, Bobo? Chuba, Dad.
Chuba,
Dad. Bo-Scott, Dad. So fucking stupid. Guys,
Okay, Dave.
I guess we're in the Ewok episode? We're talking about the movie
Ewoks,
we just watched?
Baby.
It is winter time. Both of these movies came out as like the Thanksgiving special. This one is Ewoks Battle for Endor. Ken and Jim
we just happened to watch it at the right time.
Yeah, pretty much. Ken and Jim Wheat.
I'm thankful this year for this. I just want to let the people know we loved this movie.
They had a great time.
I can't believe how 180'd. Like we had a great time. This movie slaps. It's like exactly what when we were talking about like how to make the first one successful. This one absolutely nails it, and I do. Well, I'm excited to hear what you got for us.
If you need evidence as to how much we enjoyed this, simply go watch the watch along video.
Or patreon.com/Star Wars Book Club.
At a certain point, we are cheering at a level I don't think we've ever cheered at so far in this entire literal cheers.
I told you.
But you didn't know.
I know, but I said I think because I remember this other movie and I think.
Oh, you saw it?
When I was a kid, I watched both of these movies for sure, and I know you saw them both.
I only saw the first one. I've never seen the second one.
I
remember Teak from the ride.
Based on
the first one sucked.
I remember Teak was a speedster. I remembered that it was like it had like stuff. I remember it had villains. First thing I want to say is that Caral, whatever her name was, in the illustrated Star Wars universe.
Hold on, the witch woman?
Yes.
Okay.
She was that Kevin J. Anderson wrote that in the 90s, which is still canon, like for our purposes.
Wait, which one?
The illustrated Star Wars, what is it called? The illustrated Star Wars universe, Kevin J. Anderson, sets the movie between Empire and Jedi because Wicked's younger, right?
Oh, so this is all of these are pre.
Yeah, according to this, in the 90s, this is where it was set.
Wait, so this is like where Wicket trained to be a badass.
Yes, this is like Wicked's coming
Wicket
of age.
origin story.
Yeah, we kind of just like Caravan of Courage. We're kind of just like, oh no, that's also set before.
Yeah, the only thing that doesn't make sense is that they speak less English, but maybe it's been 10 years. You know,
or he's afraid. But more importantly,
she never came back.
Can we all just say right here, right now?
She never came back.
Maybe she did. Maybe she was part of the Rebel Alliance.
That's true. Actually, I know exactly what happened to her, and we're going to find out in a very
Captain
specific book.
Phasma. No,
Do you want to know what book it is?
no.
Okay.
Don't spoil it.
Spoil anything that's been
won't.
out for 40 years.
But can we just take a moment and appreciate that Caravan of Courage is Fellowship of the Ring?
Yeah,
Very much.
very much so.
Which means this movie was Two Towers.
And Return of the King.
And then Return of the Jedi is Return of the
that's
King,
pretty
dude.
good. Oh, dude, they take out the real hell.
That's what I'm saying.
They take out the Emperor, basically.
Yes.
The Ewoks.
It all checks out.
It kind of does. Yeah.
They took out hell. They
Yeah.
went to hell and took out God. All right. They did like Final
They
Fantasy.
SEAL Team 6?
Yeah.
God.
Attacked and dethroned.
No, so Karal, Force sensitive, and she's from
Dathomir,
Yeah.
of course. Of course.
Officially? Or is
in-
this like post?
it's post, but it's 90s.
we didn't have like a...
That was one of the things that like they didn't really talk about at all is like the source of that kind of power or energy. Like, I mean, it had like a ring. There was like device-based origins, but they didn't even talk about like whether it was the Force or not. But I'm assuming
it's also tough
like
because
it's Star Wars. So if it's not the Force, then it's the Force.
doesn't he at one point take her ring and then use it on her to turn her into a bird to be a spy for him? And he's like, well, when you come back, I'll get... And then she just never does and is stuck as a bird.
I believe so.
So all the power's in the ring then, technically. Like the One Ring, dude, it's all Lord of the Rings. All the way down.
There is actually not. Well, I was about to say like there is a history of it. I'm like actually no, not yet. Of like people using like what do you call it? Like an
arcane
blasting
object?
rod or like a
focus?
conduit or something
Yeah,
like
like a
that.
focus.
Like devices to amplify
wand,
and focus,
like a magic wand.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
like that, but for the Force. I mean, like
Yeah, yeah.
like that. Those that can't just practice it.
That's what lightsabers were originally supposed to be, actually. When they were first conceived, was they were supposed to be like an expression of your Force power. Isn't that interesting?
It seems like the idea of your power with the Force, like rather than being like training as you would like kendo or something,
Or
it's
like
more like
philosophy,
It's
yeah.
like the stronger you are, the better you are with it. Like you see future. I don't know, all that stuff. So it kind of is that, but
That
it's
was
in the
definitely the
Force is the
video
thing.
game version, for sure. Yeah.
well, and
Strong in the Force
I
is the
feel like
thing.
in early. Was it specifically in Splinter of the Mind's Eye? But it's like when you're fighting, you're not just fighting physically. You're fighting with the Force. So
It's like your will, yeah.
Oh, like the like big blows are less about how much Vader can deadlift,
Sure.
and more about how much force he's exerting each strike.
It is interesting that when you talk
And we
about
know he
Splinter of
can
the Mind's
Kamehameha.
Eye and the idea of like the way they describe the Force, how they were really trying to get like metaphysical. And as time went on, I think we just kind of, in the writing, gave up trying to do that and just expected people to expect that that's a thing that
Yeah.
was happening. But they aren't going to write about it
Yeah.
anymore because it's like a little too out there.
It kind of pisses people off.
It's
Yeah.
the same way
It's kind of part why Let's Jedi, I think, was badly received in some
yeah,
ways. Too.
yeah.
It was the same way with was it the Han Solo when they finally are like, what is rated like
The little guy?
or maybe it was even in the first thing where they were explaining like a star fight, much like the lightsaber, is like, yeah, you have cockpits, but there is so much advanced computing, AI, and like you're hacking. You're basically like, there's a whole other layer of electronic fighting happening with your ships. But just for the audience, you're just watching Top Gun. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same thing with lightsaber battles. Is it's a like force? It's like a dominating force of will situation.
You're like having like inside the head, like I forget, I think it was the Obi-Wan fight, right? In Rebels, maybe. I can't remember, where they like have a chat real quick.
Oh, between
When he just,
Obi-Wan
like-
and Darth Maul?
When he just like,
Yeah.
real quick, but inside they like,
The fight wasn't the fight,
Yeah.
man. The fight was before the fight.
yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Or like those samurai that like go out on the
Yes,
road.
that one I kind of thought was just sort of to show how completely on another level Obi-Wan is now.
100%. Yes.
But that's it. But
And it's very actual samurai where he's like, no. I'm not going to twirl my blade like you. I'm going to just get the kill.
I think, but that's exactly the message, is that it's like a test of the man as much as it is of the swordsmanship. Like Obi-Wan has just got his shit on the right way, and Maul was like a greedy little shit. And so Maul gets aced out, where Obi-Wan basically gets to do like the sickest anime shit I've ever seen in Star Wars besides Mace Windu taking out General Grievous.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I was going to say is, strangely, this movie sitting at like 61% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not like a largely beloved movie. And I kind of agree. Like I don't think this movie was fantastic. I think it's just kind of exactly what it is. And
This movie, if you were not a kid, or maybe even if you were a kid, I can totally see like the Denny, the new like teen or older me would have hate. I would have been like, this is a baby thing.
You wouldn't have bought into it.
But because I'm older and also because I'm doing this show and I'm able to like truly engage with media that like is not possible, I'm like, I got it. I'm on board with it. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
I can see why people wouldn't think it's cool, even though it's like rad.
It is rad. I think okay, here's what John Corey said. He's the critic from the New York Times, right? He said, the problem with Ewoks, The Battle for Endor, isn't that it's badly done. On the contrary,
It's like, the problem is that it's a sequel to a not well done
he's like,
one.
it's wonderfully well done. But when it's over, and there is no residue. Mr. Lucas and his colleagues find their inspiration in their own technology, and there should be other places to look. He's just kind of saying like, making this like this weird little Ewok thing was kind of like what sold short the filmmaking at play and the sort of fun of it all. And again, we bring back Phil Tippett. Oh, I don't even know if Phil Tippett was in the original one, but he did some work on this one. Joe Johnston is back. He directed the scenes with Wilford Brimley because Ken and Jim Wheat, who we spoke about in the commentary,
Did you figure out the reason?
they just had tension on the set. There's not that much about it out there.
The crazy thing, though, is that, I guess for those that didn't listen, yeah, Wilford Brimley wasn't directed by the directors of it because of tension, but he's in a fuck ton of the movie.
He's a lot of the movie, yeah.
He's in like 35% conservatively of the movie.
And he's pretty good,
So
yeah.
a large amount of the movie wasn't even directed by them, not to disrespect them, because they
went on to write Pitch Black.
This is like rad. I don't know.
Davis has never seen Pitch Black, but
We learned that. We learned this dark fact.
Yeah,
I
Pitch
own it.
Black fact.
A
I
Pitch
own
Black
it
fact.
on physical media.
And you've never watched
admirable.
it?
That's
No.
admirable from a filmmaking perspective.
You have like a physical collection of a Steam library
yeah.
of just stuff you've bought and then you've neglected.
And I have a Steam library with over 200 titles. I've never played.
You're living it, man. You're
like
living
those,
your
you're
reality.
like those people who play Chrono Trigger and then they're like, there's nothing else to look for on the SNES.
No, I know there's more. And for like 2 days, like I can come over to your place, we'll Mr. Surf, and I'll like be like, yeah, and then I'll go back, and then it's like, well, it's Legion Remix, and I still have 600 more world quests in heroic mode to do, and I just fall back on lazy stuff.
MMORPGs were a mistake?
Yeah, I'm incredibly susceptible to all those kind of things. No, I will forget about things, and I will just do what I'm more immediately excited about.
Sure.
Or what's easier. And so like I forget that I have all those things.
I'm like,
there's a million movies
yeah.
I still need to see.
I'm like scrying
haven't.
all the time. I don't even like do. I just do. There's no connection between the things that I do.
Well, I've always been part of a crew, like living usually, but also working. And so we all like introduce each other to other things. Now that I just like live by myself, I see like it's harder. Like someone's not throwing it on as much. Or now I just have a bunch of nieces, so I'm watching like Sing 900 times.
Like, look, I get it. We're all
Those movies
in
suck.
the same imperial ADHD walker. We're all going through Hoth together, getting distracted. Like, what's that over there?
Like I need a podcast to be able to make myself do a thing that I want to do but won't do.
No.
And I'm much better for it. But I,
I
don't
need to turn
have
the
that in
things
all
that I
of my
want
life.
to do into ways to make money. So that's why it's a podcast instead of me just doing it. I'm doing this, what I'm doing right now. As
Why don't you
this
just sell
show.
your body?
I should. I really should. If you guys want me to start an OnlyFans where I just jerk off my dick on the camera, let me know. If you want to pay for that, I'll do it. No. But
I believe you.
what I'm saying is like my entire way of consuming media is like this, where I jump around and nothing's connected and I never finish anything. Obviously, by doing it as a podcast, we're kind of like way in now, and I'm gonna like I get excited about it and it's like part of my life. But like, for example, I'm like 60% of the way through. I'm reading every single story by H.P. Lovecraft just in order because I wanted to read another book and I wanted to like be brushed up. And so I started that. And then like over here, there's like this X-Men reading order that I've been doing for like 5 years. And then over here, there's like this video game like backlog. And then every once in a while, I buy a new video game that I want to play right now. And so that begins like another chain of things. And so you just kind of walk down all the paths at once in a chaotic way. But I think
that's why you're the librarian.
It's focusing for me to do like a show, but it's not like for me, it's like almost like, well, I mean, I guess I came up with how we do the show, but like, you know what I mean? Like the point is just like something about doing it chronologically and figuring it all out and following the thought process is what is the only reason I like to do it. It's weird. And I probably checking stuff off of a list also. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But going back to Battle for Endor, Joe Johnston and Phil Tippett came together on this movie. Ken and Jim Wheat wrote this movie. George Lucas was not as hands-on about this movie as he was the other movie. This one we learned he watched Heidi, and so he decided, let's orphan the girl. So everybody's brutally murdered in the beginning of this movie.
I couldn't believe it.
Yes. Her whole family is brutally murdered in the first act of this movie, which is like so much more of a interesting and like investment creating moment than like
I mean, with the watch along, you'll see we were like, oh, okay, like it's happening.
What's crazy is Alex told us in advance that was their thought process. And I still didn't believe it was going to happen.
Literally what they were going to do.
Yeah, I thought, oh, that's an idea they were thinking about. And then they were like, nah. But no, they don't even bring the actress who played the mom back. It's just a dead body.
It's just a butt. Like we just see her like her ass next to her son. And then they recast the dad to be the principal from Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. And he's portrayed on the poster as like a 15-year-old boy.
Is that who that's supposed to be?
Yeah, they're wearing the same clothes.
Okay, for those who are not aware, the poster on Disney Plus, and a lot of the posters for promotions of this,
it's like the movie poster for this. This movie came out in theaters in some countries.
That's crazy. But in the center of the poster is a man who does not appear anywhere in the movie. And if you're telling me that's supposed to be a younger version of him,
Luke Skywalker, like it's crazy.
They had to put a guy on there. They didn't want to tell everybody that it was a little girl movie in the advertising, but they wanted to make it that for the TV. You know what I mean?
That's
because it works. Because it works on TV. Like, oh, you're gonna watch a story about a little girl in Star Wars on TV coming up next, right? But go see it in a cinema.
I now want to know what the foreign language versions of this are because I imagine they're amazing. Especially for like the big dude, there's like, I have come to kill you.
And watching it in like 35 millimeter, like that's
I imagine that's
crazy.
An experience.
Yeah. Also, like, are you doing the plot right now? Or are we doing?
There's still a little bit more to talk about. Yeah,
because like. Do you want to do the plot or do you want to do general thoughts?
I'm going to get into the plot once. That'll be like the meat of it. So like general thoughts come up front. Yeah.
Okay. The production, like before we were talking about how they had like some great moments of production value, like the monster that like the midpoint fight that was like the budget
was used much better this time around.
Or it was much bigger. Like everything, even to the end, all the sets that they built a whole crazy shit, like part of the castle that was only for one shot, and it was rad.
It was like Willow. It looked amazing.
They did miniatures.
A lot of it felt Willow.
Stop or go motion. They did.
I want to tell you about that. Because
they did everything. This movie, if you like watching this stuff, this is a treat. Even though it won't tickle your adult brain, like if you just like practical filmmaking. You know why though? It might because it just has a story and it just does it. It has like the arcs that you need, and then it doesn't
like a good family thing, right?
Yes,
you can appreciate
all points.
You can appreciate when something's
4 quadrant.
You can appreciate when something's good, even if it's not for you, right?
Yeah,
surely, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can say that's a beautiful dog harness.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
What was the
you don't have to wear it, right?
Yeah,
the cardboard stuff for the Switch.
Oh, the fake 3D
Labo?
Yeah, Nintendo Labo.
Yeah,
it was like genius.
As
I'm never gonna buy that. Yeah.
I might have loved that. I do have a texture thing, and cardboard is just rough for me. But
even Fortnite,
the concept is great.
Even Fortnite, I'm like, yeah, but not for me.
The way you slipped that in,
I don't like it.
Was first off
good.
Incredible world building, but also
I can barely handle recycled paper, so I'm with you, dude. And all I do is read. Imagine
that's my problem with a lot of the book paper too. Is I'm like, it's so dry.
I wanted to tell you.
can't lotion this
we
up
talked
a little
about this.
bit.
I kind of smoothed it over last time because we didn't really talk about it, but I wanted to explain to you the difference between.
Also, last episode we recorded a bunch, and then the thing crapped out, and we had to go back and remember.
But I wanted to just actually explain to you stop motion versus go motion, so that we can actually settle this.
Oh yeah.
So the difference between stop motion and go motion is when you see something and you think that is stop motion. The reason why is because there's like this weird
Isn't it because
frame rate
you
issue.
stop, take a picture? It's
yes, frame rate issue.
you're creating motion where there is none.
Right. In go motion, it's exactly the same thing, except the models have motors and the camera is also on a motor. So when you take each picture, quote unquote, it's actually footage of the thing moving so that there's motion blur. So when you go through the movement and you film it, it actually looks smooth. That's why the walkers...
Is that why you don't get that weird...
Yes, and that's why the walkers look amazing in the jungle. There's some kind of compositional thing happening with those walkers in Endor, in Return of the Jedi, that makes them look real. But the reason the motion looks beautiful is because it's go motion instead, and that's why the tauntaun
It is
looks
crazy.
Good.
Aside from the clipping on the ground, how it looks like they're lit correctly. Like it's a almost seamless effect to this day.
Yeah, and the Ewok movies are like
Looks better than even like the Mandalorians.
Oh, and speaking of the Mandalorians, the Burgles, the Gurgles, the Durgles, whatever those things are, the half dewbacks, half
squigs. Yeah.
Those things, they're in the Mandalorian.
Isn't that what what's his face rides?
This is the way.
No, they're it is smoking or whatever.
Yeah.
that
Nick
guy.
Nolte.
Yeah, Nick Nolte,
This is the way. Yeah, that's the guy.
They got a lot better with the tech.
Yeah. But if you think about
the worst part about them was not the motion. It's more like the model looks like. I feel like in the 90s, I had a bunch of toys that were like crazy creatures that had that like weird, almost like fisheye look, but they were in a regular world.
The Blurgs were in the last two,
Is that what they're actually called?
Yeah, the Blurgs were in Battle for Endor.
Blurgler.
That was like the last thing that they made for TV for Star Wars for like a long time in live action. And then the next time they made live action Star Wars, they made Blurgs again in Mando.
No, I thought Jedi Knight was the next time they did live
live action on like real television Star Wars.
on television.
Like a production.
Yeah.
It was Blurgs twice in a row, which is like so funny to think about. I don't know if that was intentional, but
Mandalorian, especially like reading more is like absolutely a love letter to
a lot of
many
stuff.
phases, but including the proto-verse.
I think mostly the protoverse, to be honest. Like they don't really dip into any of the stuff.
I'm like, maybe I'll go back and watch The Mandalorian again with like a different mindset, but it does really feel like it is a continuation, and especially the movie trailer for the new one, of the comics, like the proto-comics.
I kind of want to watch an interview with Favreau or Filoni and just kind of see what they say, because like the fucking rifle, the fucking holiday special rifle that he uses, that's like so sick, and like all these other things, like the all the alien species, the idea of like the Imperial remnants being like these like weird like one guy in an office like in somewhere, like all that is so 70s. I don't know. I feel like it really is that. Like,
and Favreau,
so many names and places.
Favreau loves like Elf is like a throwback to the Rankin Bass and other like he does.
He loves a postmodern.
Like he does that a lot, and I think like maybe it's me just seeing it, but I'm like looking at it now. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely believe that's not a hard sell that would be like the vibe of it,
and I think it actually hits that vibe. Like fucking Amy Sedaris is like protoverse coded like all the way.
Like that's, I think when we've talked about this before when it comes to Mandalorian, but like that idea of all these throwbacks, all that thing, that first season works awesome. I think when they try to connect stuff to current Star Wars, when it's like, all right, yeah, like how do we fit this into the world, and how do we bring back Ahsoka, and like then we start to get off the rails.
Muscle, yeah.
And what it is, but like, and so when you include Amy Sedaris in that version of it, it seems weird because they're doing a callback to a different version,
So few
but we're
people have
also
the
trying to
context,
be
yeah.
new Star Wars too. So it's like that character doesn't seem like she belongs at all.
Did we talk about this? And I'm sorry if we already did. I'm just getting old. She's the same energy as the human from the holiday special.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
does the same bits,
100%.
the same cadence.
That's what she was probably doing. Yeah.
And that's why,
Whoa!
like, when
I
you
never like. Did we talk about? I don't know. I'm like It doesn't make it. It doesn't make me enjoy the tonal dissonance more, but it does.
The production is neat.
It does like make me approach that whole.
You forget that when shitty movies get made by like crappy studios and like executives who suck and don't know anything, that like most of the people are there to do a good job. Always. And
No, we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
It's really like.
yeah, and I don't know why like
Unfortunately, it's a couple people
Yeah.
that have ultimate control.
I don't know why you know, anybody should be expected to have the like knowledge of Star Wars that we and the few people that are following along with us should have. Like that's like what you're asking so much of your audience to like have that 50-year literacy with Star Wars. But I'll say the thing about Disney Star Wars that's really been different, and I haven't really watched that much stuff, but I've gone back and I started to rewatch Mandalorian again because I want to finish it and I want to watch Ahsoka and to kind of like learn all that stuff before that movie drops. But like so much of it is like really textured fan servicey stuff.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I don't know that there's even an audience for. Like in a big way, like who is out there watching and being like, oh my God, the blurgs! We got the blurgs!
Well, but I feel like that's what the first season has this vibe of every episode's going to be a different fan service moment for you, and it's not going to connect in any meaningful way. It's like fan service, fan service, fan service, and then season 2 is like, no, this is part of a bigger story. But that first season is like,
like that.
little things
Legos.
for the kids.
Yeah, Lego
like,
games.
Like, here you go. Remember when you were 12? This is for you.
When you
Enjoy.
when you have your play set and you just do some dumb shit with it that is like, and it's not canon when you're like in your room.
Yeah.
I like that use of the toy box of
And you're
Star
also
Wars.
you're also allowed to not
Yeah.
like that. So like the idea of like, I don't give a shit about Mandalorian, like that's fine, right? That's whatever. But the difference, Mandalorian's a perfect example for like how too many cooks get involved for like, you can watch the show completely change from what it initially was to what it becomes. And it's interesting that that's a show where it's like, yeah, that first season is like a throwback to everything that came before. And it's like a little, we see you. And then not so much.
I think that's why there's like religion vibes to a lot of fandoms as time goes on, because there's a lot more text in fandom than there is in like religion usually, like at least in terms of like official text.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Even in like Christianity, like Paradise Lost, that's not canon. But like in the DCU or like the comic book universe of DC, I read a lot of comic books, right? Like I have like a thing, like I don't know, like in my life.
What?
I just mean like in my
You
life.
like comics?
Well, what I mean is like
You've never mentioned this.
I just mean part of my like ritual of my day is that I read like 15 issues of something at
You
some
wake up,
point.
you poop, you read.
Yeah, like at 6
Everyone
a.m.
knows that about you.
At 6 a.m., you know, like something
Not
like
in that order.
Morning Constitution, then it's comic books.
Just saying.
Morning Constitution.
And you always. Fuck you.
I have a huge.
Fuck you for using my love of puns against me. And then you wash your hands, obviously.
Yeah,
Right.
they're pun clean.
Do you put on like comic like is that a thing?
I buy paperbacks that are not expensive on purpose because I like to read my fucking books.
Comic pages? They're moist. I like them.
I only buy omnibuses.
They're texturally pleasing.
Where do we go? I just said I read comic books, and I said we got to me saying pun clean. My point is, I read comic books every day. I read like a lot of them every day. So I'm kind of, like I said, I go through reading orders. So I read like through time in order a lot, over and over again, like with more understanding and more deepening of context. Cause I'll go, oh, well, I never really read what Moon Knight was up to here. So I'll add Moon Knight in this time around and I'll buy a couple Moon Knight books or whatever. Right. And I'm right now, for example, like at the point in Marvel, in the Marvel chronology where Avengers versus X-Men happened. So I'm like around there and I'm right now reading Uncanny Avengers and that's like fun. But since last time I read Uncanny Avengers, probably like, I don't know, at the beginning of COVID, I've read like 30,000 comic books, right? So my knowledge of like comics history and culture has deepened so much that there's so much to know, that all the mysteries, like, you know how like there's things like the Kabbalah and like Christian mysticism and like these weird parts of Christianity that are like for like really getting into it and being like really devoted, you know, like just in other religions that are like real. There's like all this apocrypha that you can like get. That's like part of it with fandoms. And I think like with Star Wars, like thinking about these things as like these sort of like objects of like scripture kind of, there's so much like intertextuality that has nothing to do with it as a episode of television or it as a movie or it as even like just a story to understand in like a 20-minute situation. There's so much like going on in between the scenes and stuff like that, and like just like production choices and like what names they use and like what planets they say, and that is all real. That is all real. It is actually like, that's why it's so interesting to do the canon like this, because we're kind of like going back to comics. Like if you ever read Planetary, they don't really like save the world from stuff. They like go and look what happened when somebody saved the world from stuff. And so we kind of like get to go back and learn about the world at large by sort of like exploring these things that already happened. Like the universe is already locked. Like entropy has already occurred. Like we have stepped outside of the old canon universe. It's not happening anymore. You know, it's the entire thing is there. So there's something to that. And in terms of Star Wars, in terms of the Ewoks, like I feel like watching how even stuff like this goes out. Like I say, sometime in the mid 90s, Sindel Tawani will rear her head again, and you know, in 1997,
somehow
Kevin
Sindel
J. Anderson
Tawani has returned.
Kevin J. Anderson was watching Battle for Endor in 1995 or some shit, and was like, you know what? That's a witch.
I'm gonna call George.
Yeah, that's a. Can she be a witch from Dathomir?
Go
and
for
he's
it.
like, yeah. In the guide, he just went like how Mark Waid is like every once in a while goes back, or somebody, Keith Giffen, like goes back and writes a series that's like the history of the DC universe. And people buy that, and to know what happened, because they need to know the scripture. They need to know the reality to read the stories.
I would also like to ask the listener, this might be an interesting question to ask them for a future Q&A, but the idea of, in a way, Kevin J. Anderson or any of the people that did all of these source books or all of this is where this person come from, I wonder if that also is part of the harm of fandom. And that by saying, oh, that person who we don't know a damn thing about is now canonically, because I've written this down, a witch from Dathomir. But before, could have been anything, and you could have made up your own damn mind about who that person was or what her spells were. But now she's from Dathomir, and so that's canonical, and so that was a Dathomir witch. And that's one of those things that also fans are like, well, no, she's a witch from Dathomir. She can't be anything else. Which is a whole other level of fandom, because now it's part of that sort of canon. When before, knowing less is kind of fun.
There's just like cognitive dissonance, which I'm sure we've talked about on this before, but the like mental anxiety and frustration that comes from holding two of like opposing viewpoints. And that's what this canon stuff is, where you're like, this was a thing to me, and now you're saying it's this other thing, and you're like angry because of it. And then usually people don't take that and be like, let me healthily process my emotions. They're like, F this person.
I think people who come to something creative from a creative perspective, like something like this, like a piece of art or like a piece of writing or whatever, I think people who are approaching it from a creative perspective are thinking about it as something that somebody did with something, or something that's malleable, or something that, oh, like you've taken this and done this with it, right? Whereas from the audience perspective, I think it's like, you've made this real? You've made this real? This was what you decided to make into reality? Whereas I think from the creative perspective, from the director, the writer, the actor, they're putting their hands in it and getting it on them and slopping it on and having a time playing with the toys. And then they go back in the toy box. And so so it creates all these like Star Wars specific things that are like, where are they coming from? You know what I mean? Like, Ewoks, we look at it and we think about the movie and we're like, okay, this is kind of bullshit, but for what it is, it's good. But if you look at it as a piece of Star Wars, we didn't even know how much it connected with other stuff. We didn't know like about like how it the little like tendrils go back to the other pieces of Star Wars lore, or what things, you know, are an inspiration from it, because it's not like people shunned it as a creative source just because it's not beloved as a motion picture. Like, it still is as real as Empire Strikes Back. They both happened. So it's like,
I mean, I think it's one of those things, just like the Christmas special, that it's like every so often fandoms, especially ones where everything's connected, come across stuff that is hyper cringe and is embarrassing to want to include in the overall canon, yet it is still there.
Yeah.
And so it should be back to the dissonance of like, it's a thing that I love, but I hate this thing about it, and that doesn't count.
It's like a slice of like pickled red onion on a slice of cheese pizza. It's like a one little piece of onion, and you're like a picky eater because you love cheese pizza, and that's what you signed up for. You're not like, wow, look what's fallen onto my pizza. Yeah. You know, like, why? Who did this? Why? Was it a chef trying to tell me something about the onion and the cheese interaction, or what's going on here? You're like, no, I ordered cheese.
I didn't want onions.
I wanted cheese pizza, and I hate onions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's different. I don't know. Anyway, that's just to say that I feel like even though Ewok Battle for Endor, Ewoks 2 Battles for Endor or whatever, isn't that good. It's not that good. And, you know, just to respond to
6 is correct, by the way.
Yeah,
that's the right.
It's not that good, but somehow it's also like fantastic. Somehow it's also fantastic.
It's tough, man. Probably said it before also, but the older I get, the more like numerical scores for things that are like artistic and other stuff are just like rough, hard to talk about. Actually, I haven't played the new Metroid Prime game, but I like got caught up in
just talking about that before
about scores and quality and like these kind of things. And it's like, is it a 6 of a movie? I could see somebody giving it that, but it's like approaching it from where we are, which is like going through everything, having just watched the precursor to it, seeing this film that is a like far more successful story. And to me, this is an achievement. The technology for a TV special, you got like Diet Star Wars, but Diet Star Wars is still like insane.
They had
starships. They used what other show has fucking matte paintings, go motion, miniatures, macroture, like all of this shit.
It's a love letter to like old cinema techniques from the masters of the new techniques. Like, there's so much going for it that might not be.
I love stop motion films. I love the Leica films, and even the ones that with stories I don't even think are that impressive. Like, somehow just the incredibleness of how they pulled it together affects me. And like through this movie, every scene, it's wild. And then even for the big final fight, they're using like, they didn't quit there. They like did all this. I don't know. Like, is it a 6? What, based on what? Like, how are you giving it a 6?
How is it a 6? Should I watch this or should I watch football right now with my whole family?
Okay. I guess that's tough.
We have to admit,
because like, I hate sport. Like, what is sport?
Once your third eye is open about this exact thing, right? Once you are willing to accept context when you assess a piece of art, once you're willing to like look at it beyond your own taste, once your third eye is open, you must then also admit that other way of thinking is out there and exists, and that we all know what somebody means when they say something's a 6, kind of.
I mean, even in the review, he said, technically, this is a Marvel.
It's awesome.
And I think we can all agree
it leaves no residue.
Was cool.
Yeah.
It's like, compared to the first movie, is a triumph.
Way good.
Like, it is incredible. And I think he just says like, the story's kind of shit. And
it leaves nothing behind. You don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But it's
which can be a 6. But I think those 6 points that it has are earned in the fact that it is fun to watch.
Yes, exactly. It's like all the stuff is all there, but yeah, a lot of the stuff that there is to like about it is not something that maybe is in your awareness when you look at it in a magazine that tells you what's on TV in a little box.
It took us having to watch it as part of a podcast for me even to consider ever watching it.
Yeah.
That's how out of it I was
love Star
simply
Wars.
because of what it was.
I love Star Wars so much, and I've watched it twice, maybe before this.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did.
But that and
Big same.
And let's
Yeah,
be
but I'm saying,
honest.
like-
Be honest. Are you even gonna watch this shit again? Probably.
Who knows?
Maybe you'll be like game to watch it when somebody says, "Can we watch Ewoks?"
Yeah, well, I choose to watch it. I don't know. There's a million things that I want to do that I like probably won't do.
Right.
But if somebody wants
Those
to
are
watch
all
it,
sixes.
I have absolutely no problem. Like,
Right.
I look at this with such fondness that if anyone was like, "What about this?" I'd be like, "Let's put it on right now."
Exactly. But you never need to see it again. You don't. It has no value to you as
But
like a
that, that's a weird thing to set as a bar because so many things of different numerical values meets that same requirement to me.
I agree, but I just think we all know what a 6 is. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. I guess
when we talk about it,
I guess if we're oversimplifying it to something,
it
that you're
exists.
and if you have to be like, okay, I have to oversimplify because there's too many people and
Yes,
too much
you do.
context outside of this, it's like a 6.
Why do I say make everything a 7? Because I think the numbering system is stupid. But nevertheless, we all know what a fucking 7 is. Everyone knows a 7. Everybody who's ever done something and been like, oh wait, did I just have lunch just now? I guess that lunch was a 7. We know what a 7 is. It's just like it's got some good things going for it.
In this case, making it a 7 means I have to like it less than what my brain wants.
Yeah,
to give.
yeah.
It's like
But you should.
To
But
me,
you should when
it's
talking
like,
about it.
A 10 of an achievement for what came before it, and like that it actually is like this is a kids special.
Sure.
And we're like a kids special doesn't have to be bad. Like the first one, like there's no excuse. And then, cool, you did it.
That's why we should make everything a 7 so we can talk about it all on the same level so that we don't have to have conversations like, does Ewoks Battle for Endor stack up to Dune 2 or whatever? We don't have to like,
ooh, it's close.
there's
I'll give it to
I'll
the Battle
it's
for
almost
Endor.
meaningless to put them on the same
Yeah.
scale, but we
But
do
if
know.
if you get what you want from I'm with Davis a little bit on the idea that while Dune is amazing and it's visually it's like one of the best movies. With that said, the idea of an Ewok with a blaster, there's something about that feeds a part of my soul. Gentlemen, I offer right now, if we create our first bit of Star Wars merch for this podcast, can it be a shirt with a square image of an Ewok on that blaster turret and then it just says Rage Against the Machine?
I'm so
I
in.
want that so badly.
Cut it.
As merch.
Cut it, print it, launch it.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Cut it, print it, launch it.
Don't tell Disney.
No one won't tell Disney.
Thank God that this was in the Ewok episode and not the Inside the Insider, so everybody could hear you say that. Because
Right, yeah.
I want that to come out. I want it to be a tulpa. I want that idea to be real.
To be a real thing.
Everybody write a little poem about that shirt because I want it to exist.
Oh, also, sorry. I think to close the circuit on the Metroid Prime reference, what it sounds like and what I was hearing people talk about is like, and what I was talking about with people about it was like obsessing over reviews for a game that might be dated or have flaws. And it's like, it's tough because just because a thing is dated or has other elements that are not desirable doesn't mean it can't resonate so strongly with you. And if it does resonate really strongly with you, who is to say it isn't this or it isn't that? So it's like fraught to throw a number at something that you're supposed to engage with on a multi-sensual level, including emotions.
It's also like the 4th game in like one series, which is also like the 20th game in like a huge franchise that's been going for 40 years. And it may be possible that the person who plays every video game and gives it a number might miss some of the stuff that makes the game more valuable to people who are perhaps more invested in some other elements of Metroid. And honestly, to continue Metroid as an example.
Well, I haven't played Metroid, so the new one, so I don't know. The overarching like thing that I saw was that it was getting like high reviews or something, and somebody was complaining, and that a lot of them were like, it's not new or revolutionary, but it's good, and that is a classic. It's a good feeling. Like when it works, it's that, and so yay. And it's like,
that sounds good
I don't
to me.
know that
Yeah.
that's not a valuable
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
thing. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it like ties into shit we talk about all the time. Where like the last episode with like Hudson Hawk, where you're like, is a game as a kid, you can have like a really strong tie to something and get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
can
When
be
you're like,
complete
yeah,
trash.
that game does not hold up to anything in its time.
Right.
If you go back even to the Pong days, you'd probably be like, this is shit. Like, but it doesn't mean you can't resonate with it. And in that case, it's like, I don't know. What are the points of rating things?
So that you can talk
Simplified.
about them, so that you can talk about them with people.
Yeah.
Sure, it does oversimplify stuff, but
The other option is to just say it doesn't really matter what you think of it because in Alex's world, I like it. You know, that's like the other extreme, right?
Also,
there is middle distance, but
I know,
it does the
but
thing.
that's the other side of
But
it.
it
Yeah.
requires what people have less and less of today, the patience for, which is like intention, like let's discuss, let's go, let's deep dive. Maybe one score does not encapsulate every person's.
It's a compromise.
Yeah.
It's a compromise between there being a right answer and the only answer being what you think. It's the compromise.
Yeah.
It is the attempt by millions of people to somehow contain the multitudes of thoughts that you can have and the multitudes of life experiences that you can have, which add up to your opinion of Ewoks Battle for Endor.
Yeah. And ultimately, we're just like animals that can get like angry. So instead of like being that like Jedi master about everything all the time, sometimes we're like, fuck Last Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, that's part of it as well, is if you see a number on a review and it's like 7 or 3 or 4.
It's like an attack on your whole world.
Yeah, and before, you wouldn't have, if there was no number and it was just 15 paragraphs, you wouldn't have read that. But now that you've seen a number, part of you is like, well, why did they say that? And now you're in and down the rabbit hole. Yeah, it's all part of it.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Like,
I do also think if we're going with numbers, people then also like 10, like if we're going to have a number scale that goes all the way to 10 or whatever, you need to have ones. Like we need to play all of those
correct.
things.
Yes.
Because too many, if you have like 9 4 out of 5s, I'm like, I don't believe you.
It's
not all these games. Like, what are you talking about?
In some way, you're right. But going back to Metroid for an example, let's talk about the
One
term.
of us should play this.
Let's talk about the
game
term.
at some point.
Let's just talk about the term Metroidvania for a second, right? It's not a good term. It's just 2 video games names that did not invent the genre and just sort of indicate certain things about a
Do
video.
you have squares and that's your map?
Yeah.
There you go.
Like it's not
Actually,
an all-encompassing.
A lot of
phrase.
people say that it's not a good name. I'm like, I disagree. I think it actually 100%
Mentally, I
vibes
know where.
it.
Yeah,
Like,
I know where we're at.
But games are so complex now that is any genre good enough?
No, but so the point is,
Like, is any genre title like
look,
enough?
The point is, it's
never enough
It's
for you
not.
people.
It's not that we went.
It's almost like metadata.
It's not that we started in a vacuum and said, "What are we going to name this, guys?"
Well, the vacuum of space.
Let's hear some ideas. You know what I mean? We're not like, "Let's do this." We're not like, "Let's figure this out." You know, we're not like, "Let's name this." What are we going to name it? It happened because people started trying to name it, right?
Sure.
So the number system, same thing. It's like, yeah, it does make sense that you should have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s in equal measure. However, when we all got together and started talking about shit, the system that we sort of came up with is kind of nice. It's kind of like, it turned out that we don't really want to hurt anybody's feelings that much. And so a lot of the numbers in the system sort of just like are there to like be brutal in certain degrees. And we use the top half of the scale more accurately like a scale. So you have half the scale to say how good something is and half the scale to say how bad something is. And if you go past the one part of the scale, you're kind of like saying that's not good. So you don't really want to go on that side of the scale that much. So that's like kind of what we made up without thinking about it as a million bajillion people together. So like we can't do anything about that. Like it's actually probably wrong to try and say something's a 1 that you liked because that's not actually helpful to the system that we all compromised on.
Even saying it's a 6 and you liked it, or 7 and you liked it, people are like, "How?
You really
gave
got
it a
like,
7."
That's why I have to give like a monologue every time I say something is as good as a 7. Like I have to like actually like whenever I'm on a podcast.
It's also like when everybody asks me about what I think about something, I've not once ever been like 7. I'm like, I think it's this. Actually, sometimes I'll probably be like, I guess if I had to, it's like a 7
if you don't give
out
a
of a
shit
10.
about it, it's much
But
easier to
like,
give a number, right? And that's exactly the point. Is that like at some point you got to understand not everybody gives the same amount of shits as something, so we got to be able to talk about it. Like when we named colors, like we had to name them something. You know, orange is a shitty name for a color, or actually it's a shitty name for a fruit. was a great name for a cult, but it doesn't really matter. The point is, we just named them. Like, it didn't happen. It happened. We didn't like choose to do it. It just happened. So you got to kind of listen to the rhythm of the street.
Human
Arthur.
culture is lemming-ish, where it's like there's momentum, and then you're just like, well, it happened, and so now we're doing it.
Sometimes you just got to depend on the people around you and the abilities that they have, that when you all do something as a group,
It's a beautiful segue. I know what you're doing
you're
right
able
now.
to come together and defeat the evil witch from Dathomir. Hey, welcome back.
Perfect.
Ewok battle for Endor. We're going to go into the plot of this movie now. I wanted to say that it is kind of like the redoing of the old plot, just with a slightly, like, in terms of the structure of the movie, it's like the same movie, except one was like an improv scene and one was like a scripted film. Like, they made some choices about the characters in this movie instead of having the
I don't think
beginning-
it's the same because they didn't go on a journey. Like, weren't they just trying to survive for a lot of this?
In this movie, the reason that they're stuck on Endor is because they got attacked by raiders that killed her family, and now she's stuck with an old man and the Ewoks who are going to help her.
Oh, were they about to leave, by the way? Is that what, like, what? I don't know. Like, the ship was like, the dad was like working the ship.
We have
and then they
no
all
i-
get killed.
We have no idea because they weren't real until they were killed.
You're right. I guess as like a requel, that makes sense in that, like, they don't really address
A requel is a
anything
perfect,
about the other one.
A requel is a
except
perfect name. Yeah.
And they just, like, that's the brother, and there is still one brother and a father and a mother, but we don't even know
Like,
how much of that is
Sindel's
real.
kind of sick, and that kind of makes him have to go do something for a little while in the first movie.
No,
And
I'm
then-
saying, like, there really is no other connection.
Right. It's just like they kind of just rebooted it and just did what we said they should have done, which was like, don't give me like 20 minutes of the Ewoks running around. Just let them be the Ewoks that we know about. They're going to team up.
We're going to show a life death band.
Yeah.
A Fitbit that doesn't really like do much. Like, you didn't even need it. And it serves no purpose later on either.
It is TV censors. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the idea that we can show people die without showing them die because their light goes out. And it's like the cheesiest way to do
They
it.
go off screen
But
and
in,
go,
in the 80s,
Or
it
like they
works.
go inside of
Yeah.
the building and then that building erupts.
cut to a really wide shot of like a small model exploding.
And then the light fades away.
So it's been
like, oh, okay.
so it's been 6
why you
months.
gotta charge.
It's been
Yeah.
6 months. They are almost done. Jeremit Tawani, her dad, is finishing the craft. They're getting ready to leave. The Marauders attack. There's Tarak, who's like Darth Vader but biological, and Chiral, who is a Dathomiri witch. Post sort of like retconned into a Dathomiri witch, but she really does. Like, if you told me she was one from the
good thing
beginning,
about that-
Until they change what they look like.
yeah, she
Then, yeah.
really does look like an evil sorceress.
Sure, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, they
Very-
changed Klingon looks.
very
like,
fantasy
true.
coded. She's a witch sorceress.
Like, she even has that, like, what is that archetype? Like the Morgana? Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
just like
she
whatever you
has-
think of like a classic witch kind of thing.
she has kind of like a David
Conan,
Bowie.
kinda
the
like thing.
barbarian style witch.
Yeah, like yeah, Red Sonja looking.
Yeah.
But like what you were saying, like, they don't do enough that if you were like, she's Dathomiri witch, I'd be like, that could be. There's no,
Yeah.
I have nothing except for that maybe they make them look different later. I'm like, yeah, her power set is like on the level of
For
what I believe.
1997, saying that she was a Dathomiri witch was very natural. If you told me Vima Dabota was one, I might believe you then too, because we didn't really have like a visual version of what a Dathomiri witch was at the time.
Sure.
You could just kind of choose any sort of mysterious sorceress. Because at the same time, Jedi were not identical as they were in the prequel era. You know, it's kind of like maybe a Dathomiri witch is just like another
Is that Courtship of Princess Leia that we get Dathomiri witches?
somewhere in there, somewhere
It's
like
one of
that.
those books.
I actually think we might hear about them before that, but I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But yeah, like there's something about that that's like the world is just you forget how open it used to be. But yeah, so a bunch of Ewoks get captured. Jeremit, Katerin, and Mace all are murdered. Like Mace is like goes in a house
Mace?
and like two guys go in there and just kill him.
More like aced. Maybe we said that before.
There's an
but
explosion at Davis right. There's a little model that goes like pew,
Yeah.
and then he's dead. The lights go off. Mom, son, dad, everyone dead. Crazy.
And when they
the dad even is like, they're dead. And she's like, I know. They like are like, everybody got it. We've now in triplicate established
Yeah.
they're fucking dead.
Only Sindel is still alive, and they're
the
like
mom, isn't she like dead, or is she wounded?
they find her dead.
Okay, yeah.
But the deal is they're like, you have the power. Give us the power. And it's like it seems like even though Jeremy has like no idea what the fuck they're talking about, they like have some sort of like prophecy or something that's telling them that there's a ship
It's like
here.
a map.
This actually
It makes sense.
This is a thing I wasn't thinking about till after we watched it, where I'm like, oh, the villain's entire what they're looking for is like not really explained at all, like what the power or the other stuff.
No, they do explain it. It's just it's that guy who died is the guy. So we'll get there.
Salak.
Yes. So we'll get there. So they're running away from the Marauders. Sindel's with Wicket, and they run into Teak, who is extremely well articulated. He's like
Looks
a weird.
initially very like it's like a cartoon, even more like really like cartoon dimensions, but then like so much facial
He looks like
articulation.
a real life version of like a Wyvernian from Monster Hunter.
It's like a Looney Tunes character.
Yeah, he's like a little. He looks like the Noid. He
Exaggerated,
looks like the Noid.
eyebrows and eye stuff, but then
He's like,
also again has like really more convincing facial animations than the majority of the Ewoks.
Way better.
Yes.
And he looks like the
including
Noid.
Wicket in a
He's
lot of
kind
it.
of in a different art style than the Ewoks, though, too, which is kind of
That's
weird.
what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't look. It looks like a cartoon that's made.
Yeah, he's also a speedster, and the effect is pretty good. Like it's
not bad
Yeah, it's like
for
a
what
half-
it is, yeah.
It looks better than like the Flash TV show from the '90s. It's pretty neat, and he has also clothes on. He's kind of like sentient. He's like a Pokemon kind of more than he is like than a pet.
He's kind of like another Ewok, just a creature that
He's like the comedic relief from the Ewoks, which is like kind of wild. He's also in the original Star Tours video. If you have a chance.
Crazy.
Yeah. So he's fast. They go to Noah Brickalon's house, who is human. That's Wilford Brimley. He's grumpy. They don't like that. He doesn't like that they're there, but
They quickly win him over.
he realizes that he threw like a little boy and a little girl out of his house, and he kind of softens up, and he kind of like allows Teak to like steal food and like go give it to them outside and stuff.
it's a cool little. I like. He's like a
Honestly-
reassuring presence in every movie he's in, and he has like. He's just like a guy we know later that he's just been stuck there forever.
He's like a tough
and-
love grandpa type, kind of
Yeah.
grumpy. He
That
doesn't like
bit,
the show. Yeah. Heart
aside
of gold.
again, the amazing ending. Aside from that was my favorite part of the movie. Is literally just like old grandpa getting won over by these damn kids. I was like, oh, that's very sweet.
He
This
has
is
like
fun.
Yeah.
They don't explain it, but a staff that is just. It's got like a
coolest-
dog. Like it's a staff that you see it in Star Wars, and you're like. What magical power? What sect is this from? Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. It gets chopped off later, and then
Doesn't
we
matter.
never address it,
It's
and he doesn't have any powers.
It's just a cool
It's
little
like when
thing.
you're bored for 30 years stuck on a planet, maybe you whittle.
I have
Yeah.
I have a walking stick that on one end is like a saguaro cactus bulb. I bought it at the Ren Fair to be like part of my wizard costume, but I like use it when I hike sometimes.
That's rad.
And people are like, "Yo, what the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just like a cool stick." And they're like, "Cool." That is like what he did. He just has like a cool hiking stick, and he has like this kind of weird Dragon Quest looking like habit that he wears over his body in a way that
Missing a belt.
It's a beltless tunic
he
for
looks
a
like
lot
Cal
of it.
Kestis, like
He-
dead ass, yeah, from Jedi Survivor,
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order, whatever, same one, same guy,
Same thing.
the Joker, the Jokers, whatever that show's weird.
Gotham.
It's a good show. It's a weird show. So they're at the castle now. They have the power gem that they got from the ship, and Turok, the like weird, like he's like very fantasy coded. He had, like I said, he's like biological Vader. He has a sword. He doesn't have like a lightsaber or a gun. He's like kind
It's
of
the
old
sword
school.
where it's like hooked forward, like a kukri or whatever they're
It
called.
looks like
or-
an Urukai weapon.
but it's just like huge.
yeah, it looks like Cloud.
And he looks like a combo of like a Planet of the Ape plus the
Predator.
Marauders from Return of the Jedi that are like Jabba's like dudes.
Yautja.
Plus like
Yeah.
like it's all of those in one. The guys from Fifth Element.
Yes.
There's also like some weird story building in the fact that his sword has, it looks like it's riveted together. So it could be from like a ship or like pieces of
Like
from
a
some-
hunk of
'cause it
metal.
isn't a-
They're
it isn't a
Marauders
so-
too. I would love a book like how they did for all this stuff, but even like the Han Solo thing where you got so much backstory in just the like, this is what this was. I would love to just learn more because they did so much work.
Yeah.
He's also played by the giant from Twin Peaks and is like maybe the first character with like an accent in Star Wars. That's
He's
like
a little
real.
Hondo-y. It's there a little bit.
He's like the first person with an accent that's like not like a put on accent. It's like the actor's accent that's not British in the entire thing.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. He's like, I will get the Ewoks. And you're like, wow. Okay.
Honestly, it works because I was focused on the accent more than I was the fact that his teeth are insane.
They're gnarly. They're gnarly, dude.
Didn't they put like a fake thing?
Yes.
The one thing that I actually like think that he probably acted better than that mask allowed to show off because of that. But
Yes, the way it moved was like uncanny valley.
So
Not cool.
So we learned that they have no idea what a power cell is. And he's like, use it. She's like, I don't know what the fuck. Like,
I was wondering because the witch seemed to know about, she was like
she
that.
was worldly. She was worldly.
I wonder, I mean, like you could kind of like retcon headcanon the idea that like she set him up to find the power so she could get off the planet and back to Dathomir.
100,
like that kind
100,
of thing.
yeah, like-
because they were just like a bunch of goons who they didn't have any clue about space travel, as far as I could tell.
I feel like they were looking at the idea of a ship as like something magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, maybe I can help with that. Let me try again. And I wonder if she was
I can
trying
mentally world build them as like we've seen before, like crashed on a planet and within one generation don't know what anything is, which is
Andor
why
had
they're
that
like
in,
Vikings.
like multiple times. Yeah.
Andor's like a native boy. He's like a jungle boy, which is like
Mowgli.
it's just like that probably happens a lot more in Star Wars
Captain
than it
Phasma.
does in Star Trek. There doesn't seem to be any sort of notion of a prime directive anywhere in Star Wars, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like no interference.
I mean, but
with
Star Trek's also like
lower-
the utopian view of humanity, and Star Wars is pretty like, nah.
Well, the idea is it's
a
like
mess.
the idea is it's like fucked up to play God with like natives that don't know shit. Is basically the idea. But
Yeah,
not
and in Star Wars, they're like, oh no, we play God.
Han Solo's
constantly.
like, I make a bunch of money off of showing them water, dude.
What do you want from me, Chewie? It's a genre pastiche, not science fiction.
Compadre.
Otherwise, it's gonna be a real short book. Here we go. So you find out that as they become friends, you find out that Noah was also rebuilding a ship in the jungle, and that he has his own. It's like a star cruiser that's missing an energy cell, and that him and his friend Salak landed, and he went looking for another energy cell, and disappeared. So
He was former Imperial or former Republic. He was former something.
yeah, they don't really. I forget what he said, but it was like it's not that. It doesn't really like come into the.
It doesn't
They
matter,
didn't
but he
name
was
drop
like,
the Empire or the.
No, he said like he left the academy or he left the city, the capital, or I forget what he said. But it was like the idea was they were together, they're buddies, and it kind of had like Nick Offerman Last of Us vibes.
a little bit, yeah.
But he went off and disappeared looking for this other cell is all we know. And then Sindel wakes up, she hears the song of her mother that her mother sang to her in childhood. This is when he sends her to go find her as a bird, right?
Yeah, he's like, go find her.
Because
and
he's like,
bring me.
the girl knows how to use it. Is like,
That's what she says. Yeah.
So
and then she shows up as like
She
an
pretends to be your
elf
mom.
queen.
Yeah, she pretends to be your mom and like transforms and kidnaps her.
There's a unicorn.
Yeah, and
whole thing.
Sindel is like, I don't know how to use this. They're like, use it, activate the power, make the power, and it's just a power cell. And she's like, I'm a fucking 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And she gets imprisoned, and she's with the Ewoks, and then they find out that this bag of bones over here is Salak, and that he told them that he was looking for the power, which was like gonna get them off the planet, and had the power to get them off the planet, and that. So they thought it was like some sort of like fantasy.
oh, because they have like an artifact that
It's like
does
a cargo
power.
cult type situation where they heard what he said and thought that he meant like a magic item, and he was really just looking for a power cell for a ship.
Battery.
But they kidnapped him anyway.
Salak has a Pirates of the Caribbean skeleton. Like he's
Yes.
like his dead. He's like in a dungeon, and he's just like it's almost funny. Like
Perfectly
I almost
posed.
could have imagined at one point like his jaw falling off to like
It really,
punctuate a comedic moment.
yeah.
which
or he,
would have
or he
worked
points or
with
something. Yeah.
the like shooting of the guy's foot bit. Like
There was a lot of cowboy stuff in this movie. Anyway, so
God, this movie was
they
rad.
break in, they get everybody out, they save everybody. Like Teak gets everybody in because Teak can like do super speed shit. So he's like a magic. He's like a superhero. He's like He's like more powerful than a Jedi. He can like do anything.
Teak, if Teak understood, but it's why Teak is Teak. if Teak like came online, death.
I think
The
he is
Emperor
on. I think he's Tom
gone.
Bombadil. There's probably
Like, if he
layers
realized
to
he
Teak
could
we
just
don't even
kill
understand.
everybody easily.
Teak is one of the old ones.
I like how character wise, yeah, Teak is like an old slumbering stupid god.
He's from before the.
And if he ever
yeah.
truly awakened,
He's
we'd
from
all be
before the
too.
He is like a mischief, like just a chaotic. He's caring. He's like chaotic good with
He's a nice man.
a lot of chaos.
He's like Geppetto, but like if the Geppetto was the Flash and not human. Anyway,
But just think about one bad day for Teak and everyone's done.
he could just put
Vader.
he could just put a little fucking knife inside everybody's heart. He's crazy. So they get out. Teak uses his powers. They all get out, and you think that's going to be the end, but actually, they chase him back to the ship because they're going to still try and get the ship and use the power because they kind of put it together at this point that it's a ship that leads off the planet. And she's like, "Oh fuck!" So they like try to go.
Dude, they do a full siege on that castle. They're doing like Han and Chewie running through the halls, acing people. Like
Ewoks.
They do a whole grappling hook, all real, all practical.
They like shoot to like
sequence.
swing across and like to like make a
Do we
bridge.
know the name of that guy? Yeah,
What, the Ewok?
yeah.
No, I don't know.
It's one of his it's one of Wicked's brothers
it's-
for sure.
Is Wicket the one that goes up and is like throws a dude into the thing to like counterbalance?
I
and
think
do all
that was him.
that was Wicket.
Yeah, I think that was
Wicket also, by the way,
Wicket takes
gets
charge.
so much more to do in this.
He takes charge in this movie, and I think that was probably one of the notes from the last movie was like, it wasn't supposed to be a story about Wicket in the first movie. It was supposed to be just like this girl witnesses a lesson that these Ewoks.
I actually like truly believe, based on the differences between these two, that it's like this probably was a little dumb 20-minute something.
Like,
and you
they wanted an
you guys
adventure.
stretched
Yeah.
it, but you didn't like stretch it well.
yeah.
So the Ewoks like defend the ship.
They start blasting, dude.
They actually do the Endor battle. They use all the actual war sound effects, which makes it far more effective. Like when they're whooping and doing their stuff, like their battle cries, you're like, it's on. Like these cute guys are like killing, and then they arrow. They do obviously more budget friendly versions, but they do everything that you've seen them do in
They
Return
cut
of the
up
Jedi.
one log and
the
roll
logs. They do
pieces
all
of the
that
log.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's brutal, and yeah, one Ewok with one gun.
Yeah.
changes the balance of power. in
It's
the
so
universe.
funny that they don't pick up the guns in Return of the Jedi. You'd think they would.
Now that I
But
know
now
it's
we know.
possible,
in war, if an enemy drops their gun and it's foreign to me, I'm gonna go with the thing that I know.
sure, which is why watching them use it rocked.
And,
it was the coolest shit I've ever seen.
so Noah,
Ewoks
like-
with guns.
So Noah then like crawls into his ship and powers up his turret, which kind of like switches the pace of the battle. And they shoot at the Marauders. Sindel goes to save Wicket. It gets captured. Everybody else runs away. And then Noah fights Tarek with like a sword versus stick fight.
Dude, he steps up because he's like, let's
way
go, you
better.
and me right now. Like,
Yeah, it's better than it should be. He like rolls around like Captain Kirk and fights this dude.
it's not sick in the way that if you watched, which I think the greatest saber fight is Empire. Like, it is like two old guys kind of, and the cinematography is not incredible, but it is them actually going at each other.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not even that slowed
It's
down.
it's like cowboy stunts. It's like they're roughing and tumbling around. Yeah. And so then he kills him. He traps her in the bird form that she's in.
Well, by the way, he dies. Our villain dies thanks to the overwhelming power of the ring.
It was who did it? Was
Somebody
it
like
Wicket?
shot him with
Did
the ring.
Wicket got his like hero moment of what do you call
sling.
it? Slinging the thing. Was Wicket the one that slung himself in the face or was that a different Ewok?
You know what? I feel like it was supposed to be Wicket. in Return of the Jedi.
Because I think this is like supposed. I thought this was like a make good or a reference to that.
It probably was.
They didn't really explain it, but I guess pinging it with a rock just makes it overload. And
I do feel like this was probably originally meant to be after Return of the Jedi, but I think that is true. I think it was supposed to be a make good for Wicket. I think he was supposed to be like, see, now I can fucking do this because I'm a man now, bitch. But yeah,
I would love to hear him say that in his basic that he's quite proficient in.
Wicket Man Star Cruiser.
yeah, because maybe he just realized it sounded weird and stopped saying it because he thought it was disrespectful.
Star Cruiser.
I love that. I love that you're like that's the first word he learned. You're
Star
like
Cruiser.
Damn,
That's it.
It all rhymes.
Star Cruiser. Star Cruiser. Yeah.
So because the ring gets destroyed, she's stuck in the bird form, so she's also out of the picture. And then they just like say goodbye, and Sindel is now like basically Noah's daughter, and they fly off together into space.
The craziest thing was they left Teak behind. I thought Teak was his boy. I thought he was bringing Teak with him.
Teak was like, I told you, Teak is ageless. Teak is been here before.
Teak probably saved him.
He's older than the trees.
When he was in the woods.
He's like a dolphin. He's older than the trees.
Is he actually? Because he could be a like manifest, like a one of those like eternal spirits that just like is
Of
bound to
Endor?
the planet of like.
Once we get there,
he's the Force good version of like the Dagobah cave, where it's just like.
Once we get to it, I think a great idea for a stream for us, like once we get to like one of those points where there's like one of those books that comes out that is like everything in it, it's only up to where we've read. You know what I mean? Like,
about doing let's read
I would just
together
love
and
to, like,
going through
sit
it
and be like, look what they say about this motherfucker.
Dude,
look what they
yes.
say about this motherfucker.
Yes.
Do we need to buy like what is that?
They have the overhead
An overhead
cameras.
projector.
Dude, we can because with the power of archive.org, you can actually
Damn,
rent.
dude.
You
The
can
future's
actually
here.
you can actually rent books. I guess that's probably illegal, but I don't know. Can I just capture? Can I like stream capture a browser?
Certainly, you could just. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
I think it's easy.
But yeah, that's something I think would be really fun to like chart our progress because they can't predict the future, so they can't spoil stuff that hasn't happened.
Right.
So we just kind of can like look at it as like a summation of what's come.
And if they guess it correctly, we'll have some information and know.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh,
Yeah, so like that's kind of cool. I don't know, that's kind of neat. But yeah, they fly off. We never see Sindel again until sometime later in a book. I don't know what happens to Noah.
It flies off. It's a full effect. Like it
looks
it's
great.
like E.T. or something. Like it's like they do it in daylight. Like it's a confident.
It feels like-
effect shot. I'm like, this movie.
They just
Wow.
storyboarded it and like wrote it and pasted it in a way that made sense. I feel like really, like genuinely, like we did almost the same exact thing. There was like an evil castle with like a monster in it, and
There were even times for bits.
Yeah,
But they
exactly.
were like, they actually fit where you need. Like we just had a very harrowing opening where people were murdered and they're just being dogged by the bad guys. This is a good time to have like a fun moment, and then we're back on the plot.
And if you think that's good, you should check out their other work, including
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. Ken and Jim Wheat, you guys, the Wheat brothers. The Wheats.
I'm down
Yeah?
with this movie. I'm down with the Wheats. I gotta watch Pitch Black. I have it on VHS.
Yeah?
I just don't like
You
to
have
watch
Pitch
stuff
Black
alone.
on VHX? VHX. Final answer, out of 10, Battle for Endor. Out of 10. With a wink and a nod to our conversation from earlier.
7.
7? What do you think?
yes. It's a
For the masses.
for the masses. Oh, it's a 6.
Like if you're
I
gonna
give it a Devil Daggers.
Devil Daggers?
And if you know what that means, you know what that means.
okay.
if it's the masses, then it's a 6. On a personal level, me, Jesse, having watched it,
The Jesse running list.
that's like an 8, dude.
It's an 8. You loved it.
I loved it.
You had a good time.
I loved it.
Even you were like whooping at the end of the thing. And you're like,
I loved it.
For what it is, I think it's like an 8.5, 8. I think it's like pretty damn good.
it's like almost boringly wrote to say at this point, but physical stuff matters.
Maybe I made
like
up.
all of their like the weapons they had like compressed air. Like every aspect of it was practical.
Yeah.
Where it could be the battles like running through the stuff. You just are like when people are doing it, it feels it's realer.
Do you think we're like the Church of England? Do you think we're just like?
I hope not.
Well, like
God, I hope not.
Like in the sense that we're just like that.
Not, in no ways do I ever want to be the Church of England.
What I mean is like,
Except for wealthy, I guess.
No, I just
Yeah. The
what I
money
mean-
sounds good.
I want one specific crossover.
Oh, and the power sounds pretty
I gotta
good.
be careful with my colorful metaphors because if I'm too exciting, we just.
I'm God.
The point that I mean is like, do you think that like maybe there's like a new religion that's like forming that's like, or fandom, let's call it, that's like retro? Like, is there like a, like there's like gaming?
I don't know
how
if there's
like,
new,
like,
but I think people.
there's
I think it's
gaming
more
and retro
popular.
gaming.
The counter. I don't necessarily see it, but I hear there's a big with Gen Z like a anti-tech or like
human
like counterculture where they're like actually no phones like or like less or like actually trying to be mindful. And I don't see that as much, but I also work in.
Yeah, where we
The
work makes
asshole
it
of
hard.
media where I
Yeah.
like have to just keep making vertical stuff that is the worst stuff ever.
I was trying
and it has to be
to,
2 seconds long, and anything fun or what meaningful has to go.
I was talking to my cousin.
Brain cuffs.
I was talking to my cousin who is a creative director, and we were talking about branding, marketing, and aesthetics. And we were on the topic of like trying to like design something like vaporwave or something like that, like some kind of new aesthetic, some kind of postmodern aesthetic, and like that would resonate with people. And what we came up with was something called, or actually mostly it was me just kind of like stoned talking to him, but I was talking about the idea of something called naturization. And it's like saturated, it's warm, it simulates like analog printing techniques. It looks like the 60s and 70s and 80s when everything was on like the most beautiful film. It has that old Technicolor feeling.
And it destroys target artifact or enchantment.
The sound,
Damn.
the sound is like,
It's for the magic nerds out
you know,
there.
the sound is like the analog warmth of a vinyl record. The choir from like Disney.
Were we talking about on this or in Scary Game Squad the old CRT knobs, the
click, 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 click,
and then the like heating up like the sound that is like weirdly soul white noise.
There's like proof that it was something. It was like there's like some sort of sign that we made it. And I don't know, like there's something to be said about the fact, going back just to bring this back to Battle of Endor like directly, like as a movie that's made using old effects on purpose as a means of saving money while also being extremely legit somehow at the same time, if you think about it. Like there's just something kind of neat about remembering that like an art form has to do with like people knowing how to do it and like making it and stuff like new film technology. The reason we look at people like George Lucas and I knew about the sub before everybody else. What's his fucking name? James Cameron. Like the reason we look at people like them and like
Amazing that your brain, the last thing it grabbed onto was that fact about him where he's just like, if you're like, tell me 2 truths and a lie or something, it's like, that's the perfect kind of like crazy truth
I
where you're
heard
like,
it, bro. I was down
that
there.
thing that everybody was knowing about. I heard the man.
I was
heard them all
down there
die.
and I heard it.
Yeah.
So I knew.
Wild. Sorry.
I
Keep going.
made Avatar. No, but the reason people like those people, and I think honestly, Avatar is like a perfect example of something with no residue, quote unquote. And people have been kind of
I'm starting to see stuff posted online about that right now
That's
about
discourse.
how is it so popular, yet when it ends, no one leaves the theater like, I need to talk to everyone about this.
It's like something about the sort of ease of it, the way it hits with everybody. It's in some ways sort of the anti-progress movie in some ways, but it's just in another way a celebration of everything that James Cameron brings to movies, which is all the other stuff. It's not like, it's not like invention necessarily. It's like, wow, that shit looks amazing. Like he understands what we were talking about in Return of the Jedi about how going to a movie is like a ride in itself. Like being in the theater is a separate thing than just watching the movie on your television or in a screening room, and like displaying it to people, and the realism and the feeling and the texture is all part of it. And so like, I don't know, like things like Battle for Endor make me really appreciate the way that these new ways of making movies require education and expertise to like be invented, and for like a language of film to be established that can like connect the old with the new And that's how you get stuff that's satisfying in this way, like Battle for Endor. It's like today, something like this would be so much shittier. Like today, if somebody had the Star Wars license and they wanted to not spend that much money and they wanted to make something on television with Star Wars, it wouldn't be.
I mean, it's pretty much what that one kids show was.
Right. I mean, I haven't
Like
seen it. I
Disney,
don't know.
when they made the Muppet Halloween thing or whatever,
Yes,
like whatever,
that's a
where you're like,
perfect example. You're like, whoa, this was not made with
guys.
love. This was not made with
Yeah,
love by
like-
the people that care. Yeah, like whoa. And I think like Battle for Endor is a perfect example of this sort of element of, I mean, how many people does it take to make something? Like even Battle of Endor has got to be 500 people.
oh,
At
a
least.
huge amount.
Yeah. And like all those people got to know how to do shit. They all got to understand each other. There has to be a world. There has to be understand. I don't know. So from that perspective, and I think, writing stuff that's set in the Star Wars universe is a similar thing, or like maintaining a fandom completely from the inside out, not for the audience, but for the fan,
It's really interesting what I think you're touching on, because it touches on some of the stuff that I was reading about him in the article for the Insider for this episode. That if you're not a member of the Patreon, you can go to the Patreon and listen to, about like it's about the like writing the book, this guy that wrote a book about Lucas and stuff. And there's like, Lucas is big on like, one, making everything and getting the people and doing it well. But also they were talking about how he was like ahead of his time, and where we are, digital isn't even the big thing, but they're talking about how like George is digital is going to be the future.
He's
and
like Méliès.
He's
Yeah.
already been like retrofitting for digital. And it's so interesting that like he can make something that is so handcrafted, and then the next thing he does is increasingly digital. And I think even though you can do like Camino, which is a planet, how else the fuck are you going to depict Camino without digital? But it's lifeless. Like there's a lot of stuff that is truly lifeless because it doesn't have that.
But also, who did Young Sherlock Holmes? Who also did Jurassic Park? Who also did all the stepping stones that got from Return of the Jedi to what I think is a stunning technical achievement of The Phantom Menace. Like, Phantom Menace, when you look at the different movies and how they were made, Phantom Menace is still almost a movie. They did a lot of stuff that the other two movies did not.
It is my favorite of the prequels, and I think an extension of this is like Frankenstein is like the most recent example of a movie that I think like shows
it's different. It's different because ILM, George Lucas, the guy that made it, all these other projects are there to make those things all good, right? And I think it's kind of sad, Frankenstein, not in any way stemming from the production of the movie itself. I think it's a masterpiece. I think everybody on the movie is like the best in the biz. But Del Toro sees the movie industry is dying. He's trying to make his movies. He's just trying to get the people who already know how to do it. He's not investing in necessarily the future of film in the same way that somebody like George Lucas is, though he is kind of like investing in his own crew. He's had some of the people on his crew have been there since Mimic.
Oh, sure.
But the way that George Lucas thought about the industry and brought the industry with him is so different than what filmmakers do today. Even people like Guillermo del Toro, who are sort of like, should have been like the New Mutants of that.
Yeah.
But instead,
well, it's also
Yeah.
fascinating because the more that I like read about Lucas and on this business side and the insider and stuff is like, even by his like being a filmmaker is like his least favorite part. Like the actual directing is like his least favorite part
he's
of
like,
being
yeah,
a
it should
film.
be good, yeah.
He like and having creative input he likes, but he doesn't even seem to like writing. It's like he truly loves film. He loves the media and he loves enabling people to make the best they can in the media and make the media better all around. It's just
He was a better shepherd than a director, for
well, and
sure.
like when you look at the way when we talked about the Abyss and the way they even pioneered digital effects to make the creature was a labor of so many minds, so much like thinking to just do one thing. I think once you make it on the scale of like the Clone Army, you're no longer they took 1,000 million pictures.
They invented how
you
to do
can't
that.
literally get every angle of every light for a movie that uses that much. And so I think that once it becomes too broad, that there is a point where even digital, I guess I'm saying, you can have it be so thoughtfully handcrafted, but then there becomes a point where you're like, well, if you're going to have a whole movie of this, you just can't do that for every
Well, the
second.
only way you can continue it is if you pass on the knowledge rather than hire the same people every time.
Do either of you know this? I don't have the answer for this, but maybe you do. The idea of saying that George Lucas helped pioneer and shepherd in this wave of digital creation, is that because ILM, like if ILM's doing it and they're so big in the space, then it's like, all right, well, that's what we're doing now. Like
He's the porn of film technology, where if he's doing it,
then like everyone else is doing it because ILM's so big.
Well, because he's trying to make a way to do it.
it is tough because we are like reading the most of the information we're getting about this is from them. Like, so they're not going to like talk about their competitors, but they are in this era just the big, like the game changer on the tech side of stuff. So like, yes, also it's cheap. Like there's a bunch of practical reasons why digital is the way you want to go.
When you look at how it gets adopted, right? Like when you look how stuff like that gets adopted, like you can simplify it. Look at the comics industry, for example, which is something I have some knowledge on. Like
you in comics?
I'm just saying, like
you never mentioned this.
I'm just saying, like to add digital to the process of comics, it takes like even just like somebody like DC Comics before every artist was doing digital. It took like 25, 30 years from when digital came out as an option to like when
originally there were digital only comics.
Yes. But like, I just mean digital art even. Just like rather than like drawing it and taking a picture of it, I just mean like literally like using the added, because then you have to think about, okay, well, now I have access to every color that exists. So we need to think about the printing process. And then, okay, in the comics industry and in most industries, which is like trades, there's like artists that have like made the house style and they are not digital. So you have to like wean some old man onto digital or something, or you have to figure out some way to like retrofit digital technology back to let Adam Kubert still come in or John Romita Jr. like come in and draw a comic still on digital. And, that's a whole thing. And then, you got the audience to think about, because early digital comics and the way that color sessions were done. I don't know if you've ever read Dark Knight Returns, the second one, Dark Knight Strikes Again. But if you take that one and you take the other one, like now you can go back and look at it and see what it is and see how it's kind of reflective of Frank Miller's changing style, and he was kind of being garish on purpose, yada, yada, yada. But where visual art is now, when you look at like an X-Men comic book from today and you see how much fluency there is and how much the colors are like integrated and how much more the branding of Marvel Comics is now in full color because the printing process is fully caught up with digital comics, you can understand why it's important that there's somebody on the inside who's pushing those things forward, because otherwise you're just gonna enshittify everything.
Yeah.
You have to bring the masters with you. You have to bring everyone with you. That's why, there's so many, even In-N-Out Burger has a school of how to cook burgers because they have to keep the quality of In-N-Out good.
That's why the loss of like their writer's room is like,
it's insane. They're like, why is all the shows bad? It's because you took the way television shows were made, took it out back and shot it in the head for no reason.
Basically like a modern day version of like blacksmithing and apprenticing. Like the idea of like being a trade and then an apprentice to that and coming up and then doing your own thing.
Yeah. How long before wrought iron was a thing? How long after wrought iron was a thing, did you realize, oh, well, I still need to go back to a guy, and it's better to just have a guy do it because then you can just like get it fixed instead of having to like wait on the line with Best Buy for 10 hours, whatever.
Okay. How dare you? That's this week.
Davis's fridge broke and he didn't like it because he had to talk to bureaucracy.
That's not even an accurate
It's accurate.
That was a weird. You like rephrased that as like a attack.
it wasn't an attack.
went over to best bureaucracy.
I had a saga, and I don't like them. And turns out, like just
Davis is a hero, like in the classic sort of sense from like Star Wars. Like he's like a Joseph Campbell hero.
aside from my hot takes on media, I'm a very pleasant, understanding person in general to like do stuff with.
Yeah.
I
That
think, or
fridge
maybe
was
I'm
the
way off.
inciting incident.
His fridge
And-
died,
Yeah.
but like that was Obi-Wan.
Right.
If you didn't know, this is not news to me. It just I haven't had to deal with a fridge thing before. But big companies, kind of like suck. Nobody seems to care. But one single hero plumber can just like be a human.
He had
human
to-
to human and like help you.
Somebody
in your
had
hour of
to
need.
somebody had to pass on the knowledge in a real way so that you as a human can connect with it. Otherwise,
Ooh, you were like the Leia then.
yeah, you're Leia.
Yeah. And that was your only hope.
You
and
were
he got
you were like, are you a little short for a plumber?
I mean,
He's like, sorry, I don't wear
Edwin
ties.
was a little. He's probably like 5'6".
Yeah. Anyway,
He's strong.
that is
Yeah.
Ewoks.
wide.
That is Ewoks Battle for Endor. You can watch it on Disney Plus. It's pretty much complete there. If you want to watch us watch it, which I think we had a good time. Like, I don't
Great
know.
time.
I feel like it's going to be like a feel good. I haven't watched it through, but it's out. It's up. It's on Patreon. You can go watch it.
I love watching or experiencing people loving something, and so maybe like I don't know how entertaining it is or not, but
I'm about to go, like,
we
edit it
came
right
about
now.
on it and like really enjoyed it. So that might be.
I'm about to go like watch it and like put it up on the Patreon. Like,
Hell yeah.
in my timeline right now, it's not out, but when you're listening to this, it will be out.
You get to re-experience. Like that's interesting. So often people are like, "Oh, I wish I could like forget about the Vader twist and re-experience that for the first time." But you get to re-experience.
I can
us
re-experience the
experiencing
twist.
it for the first time.
Yeah.
all the time.
Ewoks with lightsabers got the loudest, or not lightsabers, blasters.
guns, like
got
fucking-
the best cheer of the day.
Machine guns.
Yeah.
Like, they had like Uzis. It was
Yeah.
crazy. No, they didn't. I'm just kidding. But it really was. It did feel like that.
It was pretty good.
You know that Elseworlds?
I just love the idea of him being like, guys, guns.
Let's
we-
just, nobody's
Teddy
gonna watch.
bears
We
plus
need.
guns.
We
Let's just
need
do it.
to think about that.
They're like it's way cheaper than them swinging around.
and I've been thinking about it ever
It's like
since.
it's like when a Jedi has to use a gun.
You're like,
kind of
fuck.
where you're like, okay, and then it's like headshots. You're like,
in a way,
it's no, use the saber. It kind of like
he breaks the world.
it's like when Superman gets angry. I actually don't want to see that. Just be.
dude, what if Superman? Dude,
I'm, like,
hear me
scared.
out. Hear me out.
What if he was a young boy?
No,
who was
no.
angry?
What if he was bad?
What?
What if Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if Superman? What if Superman was bad? And hear me out. What if there were zombies? Anyway, those are just
The
two.
S stands for hope, dude.
What if superheroes didn't work? Is like I'm done. And what if something happened, but then there were zombies? I'm done.
Yeah. What if like Superman was made by Nazis?
Yeah. What if Superman was bad? Is like I'm
You ever
like,
realize that
God.
literally everything involving zombies is that? It's just like there wasn't zombies and now there's zombies.
What if I'm not even saying it's all bad.
Think about it.
I'm not even saying it's
Now
all
they're here.
bad.
Nobody was like, yeah, zombies. We knew they were coming. This is not surprising.
Love Watchmen. Love the boys. So what if Superman was bad? Is like the Cybertruck of like comic book ideas. Like it's so not edgy.
Now I want-
You just forget that a person with power being good is the novelty.
Yeah.
Because humans with power
Yes.
aren't good. They
What if Superman
never
was
are.
good? What if Superman was good? You
Superman
dumb
is like,
motherfuckers?
what if a super powerful person was good? Is
Yeah.
like,
what if
that's
Superman
the
was
bit.
good?
Proposition to all
And
of
it's
Hollywood.
called Superman and Lois, and I just finished it, and I love that show.
It's called
Watch
Superman.
it.
It's a movie that came out.
What
this year.
if there was a
It's all right.
look-up version of a movie, but it's zombies?
Yeah. Oh.
And it's the scientists on
what?
TV like, they're like, guys, there is a zombie outbreak happening right now and nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want the look-up version of a zombie
Yeah.
movie.
I would watch that.
They're like, it's happening right now.
It is. It's called TikTok.
Dawn of the Dead.
Brain rot. What do you like?
Dude, the mall. What if the mall had zombies?
Trollolero, trollolol.
This has been Babies, Ewoks of Endor.
I'm actually like,
I told you guys.
I could have watched if there were other movies of this quality. I would be like, there's no amount where I will be done with them. If you
Now-
gave me
Yeah.
7 more of these of this quality, I'd be like, I would be so happy to watch this.
I'm so sorry. It's only animated stuff
I
from
will
this
tell you,
point
we
on,
have
and
3
it's
more
not.
3 seasons of television to watch next.
They're not good, dude.
We don't know.
I to this day hate the
Ewok watch it?
Not the Ewok show, the droid
droid show?
show. The droid show sucks.
Let's see.
It sucks.
We'll find out. We'll find out next time. I don't know what's actually next. Let me tell you guys exactly what's actually next.
I hope it's either Ewoks or droids.
It's definitely one of those things, or it might be like a little break just for you. But let's see. We got Lando. We got that. Oh, some spoilers. Went a little too far. Ewoks. We got Droids is next.
Oh, yes.
Which is one season. And then after
it was so good that they didn't won. They were like, no, we're good. We did
then
it.
After Droids, we do the last book of Marvel.
Okay.
So that's 4 episodes.
The last book of Marvel.
That's going to be 4 episodes because we're going to do Droids in 2 halves because it's a show. And then we're going to do the last Marvel in 2 episodes because it's huge. Then I'm pretty sure every comic book from now on will probably be 1 episode because it's going to be like 6 issues. Yeah, it's going to be a few issues, which is kind of awesome.
God,
it's going to be such a relief.
God, just the like little snippets of the comics from the Insider.
You have no idea. You have no idea. And then Ewok season 1, and then Ewok season 2, and then as a little fuck you to both of us, to all of us, there's an Ewoks and Droids comic omnibus that is like right before the final seal.
Oh, is it a lot?
It's as big as any of the other omnibuses, if not bigger.
Oh my God!
If not bigger. But it's
wait, is that the last thing before Thrawn?
That is the final seal. Is a 2-part Droids and Ewoks comics episode.
The Fire Walk with Me.
It's the season finale. It's the season finale of SWOCBC season 1.
Sucks, dude.
And then season 2 begins.
Are we all gonna get like a different haircut for season 2?
I think I'm gonna rebrand.
Like, some of us that didn't have glasses have glasses. Maybe I have like a cybernetic something.
I think I'm gonna update the branding. Is that cool?
I kind of like the branding. But
I mean, it's gonna be similar. Probably just like maybe like a new book cover.
Ooh, can we do the Thrawn book cover where like Alex is, his hands are up in the air.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, right?
Yeah,
Davis can be like Thrawn in the background.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I can be the little thing that's on Davis's shoulder, the little lizard.
That little like axolotl from Star Wars
I'm just
Outlaws.
I can't wait to find you, Luke.
Davis will get a little tattoo of you.
I do love because he has the ISB uniform, right?
I mean, at the old, I think that was supposed to be like the Grand Admiral uniform, but
that
it
was
very
the
much
white.
became
like,
ISB.
That was
became
just him. Yeah, that was just him.
He was
at
the only
first.
one who had
You're
a
right.
white outfit, and then they were like, "No, it's everyone has."
By the time we get to Andor, which we need to finish,
yeah,
the ISB, it's tough because everybody looks pretty good in the Empire.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything about their politics. I'm just saying
Those
visually.
outfits, though.
There's like the one that's like Inspector Gadget, not Inspector Gadget. Don't they have like the Sherlock Holmes coat version
Yeah, yes,
too? You're
yes.
like,
Yeah.
how are you still stunting?
Dude, there's comic versions of it. Like, just it's even cooler than you even think. But so all that's coming. That's the end of this season coming up for you. Just a few more things to get through, and then we're gonna relaunch the show with no break. We're just gonna keep it rolling.
We're just gonna say season 2 because it sounds kind of cool.
You know what's crazy? We might finish the Lucasfilm fan magazine the same time that we switch. Like, it might be like within an episode or 2 that we switch from doing the Lucasfilm fan club to the Star Wars Insider, like at almost the exact same time that we hit the Thrawn books.
all right.
So pretty crazy. Thank you guys for listening. A few other things. The holiday special came out as a free upload.
Hey!
So if you're a member on Patreon for free, you just got to be a member. Doesn't cost money. Just a free member.
The watch along of the holiday
You
special.
can watch along the holiday special now, which is good. I'm going to put the audio of it on the main feed. And when I do, it will probably mean that the second chunk of the Swackback Legends version is going to be uploaded as well.
Great.
So you're going to get probably not Last Jedi.
It's a good holiday
But
season for
I
it.
think you're going to get Solo and a couple other things in there. So
We probably won't be able to get the Ewok shirt out in time, unfortunately. But
by next
For
week?
Christmas?
Yeah, no, by next week? No. But
I want this.
there's going to be all kinds of little presents for you guys this Christmas. And please enjoy. And just thanks for watching. Go to Patreon. Sign up if you like it. There's an Inside the Insider right now. There are 18 of them. I don't know how many have come out in this things. Probably 9. There's probably like a whole nother set of episodes there that you can go check out. You can go watch us play a bunch of Star Wars video games. You can watch us watch all the Star Wars movies, including these two. And we'll see you there.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars is tight. Patreon.com/SWOCBC.
Peace.
The Star Wars Old Canon Book Club is made possible by contributions from our listeners at patreon.com/SWOCBC. Thank you for your support. This month's Patreon Masters of the Force are Ian Berenade, Trevor Isom, Patrick Rowland, Amy Wakai, Jazz Owl, Peacetime Mando, and Metroid Mike. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with a discussion about our next selection, Droids, The Adventures of R2-D2 and C-3PO, Part 1. This episode was edited by Alex Del Campo and Alex Faciane. The theme song is Venus, The Bringer of Peace by Gustav Holst, performed by the U.S. Air Force Heritage of America Band. Original show art by Jackie Whistler. See you next time.